Oh, yes. Well, howdy, folks. How y'all doing? No one's here yet. I'll give it another minute or two. Yeah, da, 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 bum, 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 bum. Oh, where has YouTube gone? Oh, where can it be? Bum, 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 bum. Boom, 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 boom. All right, got that out of my system. We'll wait for a few people to show up. If they show up, if they don't, we'll just do the show another day. It's the beauty of it. When you don't give a rat's ass, you just do it when you want. You take it down when you want. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, live from Thailand. Live from Thailand. Yes, we are. Now, I am in Bangkok. April is in Phuket, and we're all going to be over there soon. She had some business to take care of in Phuket, publishing type business. So we want to welcome you. There's 12 of you in the house already. Thank you for coming by. It's amazing how it goes from 0 to 12 in 1 second. I want some questions from the audience today. Let me answer your expat, digital nomad travel questions for free. It's a free service I provide. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to Ricky Boy. Ricky Drama, shout out. I saw his upload. Oh, hey, April, Arcelia's Corner. How are you? Ricky had a funny upload from Boracay. Hilarious stuff and very cool. And I've stayed at that hotel once when it first opened. It's exclusive there on Boracay Island. Very nice. So shout out to Ricky, and he's on a 2 or 3 week rampage, going from one 5-star lifestyle, location to the next. And we wish him the best. And keep doing those uploads, Ricky. They're very good. They're very funny. So, Arcelia, how did you enjoy your day in Phuket? How was your day in Phuket? I'm going to be going over lie number 3 in my litany of lies that expats tell. Now, I noticed Geo started doing a series called "Lies That Expats Tell Themselves," but I started doing it before Geo did. Not copying from little Geo. You know Geo, who was 42 in one interview and 45 a week later, and another interview was 49. That Geo. Wow. Well, Arcelia doesn't want to share anything, huh? Share with us, April. Tell us how it is down there in Phuket. deals that needed thinking about. We have so many deals we're working on right now, so many books and so many things that April's connected to our company. She's not working for the company. Well, she's working for an agency the way we have to pay international people who are not Americans. You don't directly work for the company, you work for an agency. But I mean, that's how they have to pay them. That's just like some weird rules, I guess. So April has been killing it, plus the books. That's right. And we've got, as I said yesterday, some new ones coming up with Admiral Halsey and Admiral Nimitz. Thanks to Tim Disiak. I've been doing a ton of research on Nimitz, poured in maybe 10 hours of research since he mentioned it. We're gonna do also one of Aces of World War One, which will have the Red Baron, Laughter van Richthofen, and then Eddie Rickenbacker, the American ace. They both have similar last names. They're gonna share a title. So lots coming out. I also want to give a serious shout out to President Donald Trump, even though I personally disagree. I think Trump should have continued to whack Iran until they were totally in submission. This has been a menacing country for 47 or 48 years. I think he's tried the diplomacy route. It's not working. These people have an incredible tolerance to pain. 250, 300% inflation isn't enough. Hey, Honeyco, how are you? Not enough to hit their funny bone, but so many other good news. The jobs report came out on Friday, was extremely strong. Manufactured is growing back in the US like crazy. So much so they're having a hard time finding people to do the work. Dow Jones Industrial had its all-time high. My own personal 6 or 7 stocks that I own have been gone absolutely through the roof. It is well into the since November, we'll go back, so it's a year and a half. I think I'm up to 38%, close to 40% increase since Trump was elected, not inaugurated, elected. I mentioned this the other day. Take your advice from people who were successful in whatever field you're looking for advice. I've had so many brokey friends who try to get me to invest in this, invest in that. And I always say no because I don't believe in what they're saying. I don't think they're hardworking enough. I don't think they've done their diligence. And it's hard to say that when you're a friend with the person, but there's a reason why they're begging people to do investments because they did something wrong along the way. If you want to know about investing, go to a multi-gazillionaire who made his money on investing. I've made a ton of money this year, last year and a half. It's in the millions. And I owe a lot of that to Donald Trump. So much of what they're investing in the US has caused those stocks to go through the roof. Now, of course, I owe a little bit of credit to myself to have the discipline to be saving and investing in it for 25 to 30 years. I do, but the conditions are good too. Go to people who are super successful and get your tips from them, not from your friends, not from the lady selling fish balls on the street corner, not from idiots who went bankrupt 3 or 4 times. No names, please. Go to the people who are killing it literally based on their, um, investments. Alright, so we're gonna talk a little bit about lie number 3, and like I said, I did not get this from little Geo. I started my lie series before he started his. and I could spend 10 episodes just dealing with Gio's lies, but I won't. I don't actually have anything personally against the guy, but it's so obvious the clown show and the desperate men that follow it. How many of them are still out there? How many of them are still, so I bet you 99% of them have already went back home. They tried it, it didn't work. They paid the consultation fees. It didn't work because it's all bullshit. That's why. All right. Now I'm gonna do line number 3. And this is a controversial one. And I'm probably gonna step on the toes of a lot of my friends that are in the Philippines. But as you know, a few years ago, the Philippines changed its policy on, its slogan for tourism to quote, "It's more fun in the Philippines." And I'm gonna say, no, it's not more fun in the Philippines. It's boring. There's nothing to do there. Their own people run away from there as fast as they possibly can. You could end up in a hermit, some idiot like the fairy, sitting in his shack in Dumaguete, or you could be like Frank that's 24/7 glued to YouTube, afraid to walk out of his house, can't go anywhere by himself, or the myriad of other people that live in fan rooms, don't have air conditioning, are forced to eat cans of sardines with cracked rice, corn rice. I mean, is this funner? Really? Sounds to me like it's a miserable existence. Let me give you the skinny on how it can be more fun in the Philippines. I lived in the Philippines for many years as a single person. In that time, I dated literally hundreds of people. It might be close to 1,000. Every day I met new people. And if you're not out partying your ass off, banging bitches like there's no tomorrow, if you're not out there hitting the islands, going to the beauty of the land, doing all that the Philippines has to offer, then don't tell me it's more fun in a place that has the worst food, the worst internet, worst infrastructure, horrible and pollution. Don't tell me it's more fun. Now, if you're there and you're living large and you are on the dating scene and you are out killing it and you are out there hitting Boracay and El Nido and Surigao and BGC and Makati and Angeles City, and you're out there with a different woman trying out the different local fare, and you're in the clubs and you're dancing and you're singing. Yeah, maybe for you, it's more fun in the Philippines. I would agree. All of those things, of course, are available everywhere else too. Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, they're everywhere. There might be a little more expensive to get, but they're there. No, what the Philippines should be focusing on instead of the connotation that it's more fun, they should be focusing on the beauty of the land, the unique culture, the Aitas, the Igorots, the history, the military history, the beaches, the waterfalls, the mountains, the diving. That's what it should be focusing on. Big Kevin is in the house. How are you, Big Kevin? But to say that it's more fun in the Philippines, if you don't have the money to enjoy your life, if you're just, surviving eating Filipino food and screaming at the walls, it's not more fun. It's a terror, it's a misery. And you can't tell me otherwise. I lived there long enough. I met thousands of people like that. How many times did I go to the consulate or the embassy and had Americans coming up to me begging? I had as many white people begging me in the Philippines as I did Filipinos. Guys who had fucked up royally or thought they were gonna somehow survive on 500 to 1,000 a month. You could survive on 1,000 a month, but what's your life gonna be like? Sardine cans, corn rice, screaming at the walls, and no air conditioning. So, if you don't have your financial house in order and you're not super motivated to go out there and bang as many bitches as you can get your hands on and party your ass off and hit the clubs and hit the live music and go out to the beaches and go to the waterfalls and the diving and the snorkeling and everything else. If that's not gonna be what it's about, just gonna be sitting in a room, stay where you came from because that's where you're gonna end up anyway. Don't let these bullshit vloggers. That's good to hear, buddy. You had a great show the other night and the night before. You've been doing really good on YouTube. Your shows seem to be better than ever lately. When you and Richard are co-hosting, it's just like you guys have a magic chemistry, I think. So keep that up, buddy boy. I think the community needs you. I really do think it needs you because, Ricky doesn't do any live streams anymore, very rare. And all the old time guys like you and him, and it's just really quiet. And I think a lot of the boys need an outlet. Jay's been gone for a long time. The RRR people are gone. Popeye doesn't do a lot of live streams either. Well, you had more good times than bad times, yes, because you showed up with 50 grand in your pocket and you tasted the local flavor, let's put it that way. I know your history. You're the opposite of what talking about. You weren't afraid to test the waters, you weren't afraid to experiment, you were not afraid to go out there and live your life to the fullest. But you're one of the rare ones, my friend. Most of these people go there to die. They just go there to sit and do absolutely nothing. I find it so amazing as well. I see people posting pictures. Like I saw one today post a picture of a beach, and the beach is filled with algae, seaweed, debris of every kind. And oh, thank you. Poolside service, isn't that nice? I bring the swimsuit. Thank you. And you're kind of the opposite of the typical one that I'm talking about. You had 2 different women that you dealt with. I know all about your Korean bitches, I know all about everything. You're actually the opposite of you're kinda what people should do when they're there. I think what happened, you kinda ran out of money probably, and then you had your Bolo incident, and you were an overstayer, but if you wouldn't have had if those issues weren't there, hell, you'd probably still be living there right now. So don't get me wrong, I had a great time in the Philippines. I was out 5, 6 nights a week. I met thousands of girls. I mean, you remember my harem when I met Ricky, I had 17 girls with me. I had a 15 passenger bus filled everywhere, you know. I had a great time. I mean, but I'm not talking about my type either. I'm talking about the other type, the shut-ins who never do anything. They're afraid to walk out. They're afraid to walk on the beach by themselves. They need someone there to chaperone them or babysit them, or they have nobody at all. They're just in a fan room. That's what we're talking about here. If you're gonna make the decision to come, make sure you got your finances in order. You know what you can afford, what you can't afford. If a vlogger tells you you can live on 1,000 a month, just double that amount and you'll be okay. Because they're gonna lie. They're gonna undersell it, and they're gonna be the one to teach you the inner secrets of how to make it. Don't listen to that crap. I had a great time though. I really did. But my gosh, some of even the friends I have are basically shut-ins. If they have a girlfriend, which most of them don't, they hide them because they don't want someone to make fun of them, thinking that's all you can get. Um, they don't have the balls, they don't have the backbone to actually put that person front and center. Everything is a dodge, everything is a a put on, you know what I mean? So they're more afraid of what other expats think than they are what the woman they're with thinks. It's pitiful. Yeah, don't go to the Philippines for survival. Go there to thrive. To thrive. You know, I was lucky. I went to Batanes, all the way to Tawi-Tawi, to Palawan, all the way to Leyte and Samar. I've been to most of the Philippines, Basilan, Sulu, Zamboanga, all along the northern rim of Butuan, as well as every Visayan island, and all the way up to Pagapud and, of course, Batanes, which is the farthest north, right below Taiwan. I had a ball, and you know what? You might think, "Oh, it's money, money, money." A lot of you can do a lot of it for cheap. You can travel cheap, you can get the piso fares, you can rent a motorcycle for cheap, or you can, you don't have to. This isn't about five-star hotels. This is about a mindset of living life to the fullest. If you're in the Philippines and you've got a boatload of women who are willing to shack up with you and you don't do it because you're too busy palpitating, "I can't believe he's saying that. Oh!" All those fake Christians that are in nonstop palpitation mode. Those wonderful Christian believers, the ones who gossip and tear people down all the time, the ones that are always talking behind people's back, the ones we're talking about. They make skits of people. They never actually confront the person. They're too busy gossiping about the person. So live life to the full. Don't listen to vloggers, as I said, except for Kevin and Ricky. But I just wanted to come on for a brief live because April had a live from Phuket, Patong Beach, and I wanted to come on live to give you my lie number 3. It's not more fun in the Philippines for 99% of the vloggers who go 99% of the people who go there because they were sold a lie. If you wanna have a good time, and I mean a really good time, you better have at least 3 to 4,000, maybe more a month to spend if you're a solo. If you have a family, I think we spend 6, 7,000 a month easily, and it might be more well in excess of that, and we have a great time, but if I'm gonna have a miserable time just living in a fan room with people who don't give a shit about you, then it's better to stay at home. Better to stay at home. And, there's alternatives as well. You can take a person like Jeff Leopard or Be More Ron. They go home, save up every penny they have. They come to Pattaya, they fuck everything they can get their hands on. They probably grind through 20, 25 girls in a trip. Then they go home, go back to work. Be More Ron's working 16 hours a day delivering pizzas. He comes back 6 months later, grinds out another 50. 10 years of doing that, he's got a body count of 500 people, whereas the average American man has a body count of 5.5. Remember, don't say that to those sanctimonious Christians, the ones that are so-called Christians, the ones that like to gossip, backstab, judge, everything they're not supposed to do. Don't get me wrong, I am a believer, but all the phony Christians on YouTube, I've never seen so much judging, so much palpitating, so much fainting spells in my life as all of the Mrs. Kravitzes that exist in the Philippine YouTube community. The little Snoopy looking through the windows. Yes, Kev, he is. Yeah, we love Bimoran. In fact, I like everyone I've met for the most part. I'm sure you did too. You can run down the list, Captain Billy, you, um, Don C, E.T., Tim Disiak, I mean, Miss Muggs. I mean, I there's so many of them I can't even remember. Will's Travels, Fluffy Travels, Army Guy, I've met him, multiple times. He has about 85,000 subs. There's so many that I've lost track of it, and they're all nice. Just about all of them have been nice. Okay, well, that's probably about it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I came on at an odd time. Sure death for the numbers. But just remember that lie number 3, it's only more fun in the Philippines if you got your shit together. It's not more fun in the Philippines if you're broke. It's not more fun in the Philippines if you're on the run. It's not more fun in the Philippines if you live in a fan room. It's not more fun in the Philippines if you never get laid. What's the point of being there if none of those are true? If you never go to party time, never go to the bar, never go to the club, never go dancing. And that's unfortunately become the vast majority of expats. Just sitting in a room, staring at a wall, or being like that fruitcake fairy who's obsessed, makes fake accounts, copycat accounts, spends his time trolling, proving what a loser he is, what a desperately lonely person. Must be lonely if you gotta do that shit, right? You got nothing better to do with your life but to make copycat accounts of people, to impersonate them, and to mock people, keyboard warrior style. It's pitiful. Pitiful. Don't let it happen to you. And I wanna say also, it was good the panel that you had. You had Popeye and you had, of course, Richard. Oh, who was that other one you had up there? You had 2 shows, you had different people. I think the community is clamoring for more Big Kevin shows. Yes, sir, I will. Thank you, Big Kevin. Good luck with the knees and the other plans that you talked about coming back to Thailand or wherever you're gonna think of going, maybe in 6 to 8 months from now. Hopefully, your knees and everything will be well on their way to back to normal. So we are wishing your full recovery and your financial recovery so you can afford to do the things that you wanna do. Alright, everybody, I'm gonna phone it in here. We're still in Bangkok, but April is in Phuket, and we will be joining her either tomorrow or the next day. She had to do some advanced work on the book issues. We've been really lucky. We've been selling 150 to 200 books a day lately. I had the one where I got a check for $41,000 for Gumdrop distribution. But then lately we've been doing about 150 to 200 books a day. We've been making, after taxes, about 35,000 Philippine pesos a day, sometimes up to 41,000, 42,000. Okay, couple hours. We'll be looking for that, Big Kevin, old boy. So when you're selling that many books, I mean, 35,000 pesos a day, that's what, $700 or $800 a day. Not only can it pay for her and her salary, she gets commission off all of it. They both are getting salaries off of it between that and the real work. But sometimes it's forcing us to split up because we have other places where we're doing promotions. And so for the first time, we're kind of going in different directions work wise. Good for April though, because she has a master's degree from San Carlos in marketing. She is getting to do what she went to school for, and it's good for Honeyco as well. Honeyco was an OFW for 10 years. She's written a few short stories and has a cookbook that she did. So we're wishing her the best too. She spent so much effort on it, you have no idea. I remember when she was working on the cookbook, she was probably putting in 16 to 18 hours a day on it, just relentless. I would go to bed at night, she's working. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, she's working already and never left the desk once. It's just like a bulldog. So shout out to the two of them for being such hard workers. You guys are killing it. Yeah. I think you should, Kevin. We could help you with it, as a matter of fact. I think it would be quite interesting. I started writing a book on Mick Fisher's life. I didn't finish it. I got sidetracked, and it was called something like An Alternate Vision. The alternate vision that you can be an expat that comes, goes to the gym every day, walks his 10,000 steps, eats healthy. Um, and not everyone has to be a drunk. Not everyone has to be whatever they have to be. It's an alternate vision for the expat. Now you have all the time in the world and you could make all the right choices. Um, I got to pick that project up again. I only did a rough draft, but it'd be interesting to have a story on Kevin from the igloo to working in the mines with the reagents to the Philippine years, the Bolo years, the Basement Boy years, back to Thailand. It's a compelling story, honestly. I would love to work on that. Think there's a hell of a I think there's a market for it in the expat community as well. Because one thing you can say about old Kevin, old boy, starting from the igloo and being married to a Eskimo, he literally burned himself with in the reagent room in the mines he worked at, worked as a chef on a cra on a king crab boat in Prudhoe Bay. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and then he 13 years with in the Philippines and a internet cafe, banging the Korean bitches, to the bolo, to the basement, and the triumphant return to Thailand. That is a hell of a book. See, most people couldn't write a book like that because they don't have enough colorful stories. You have to have something to write about. If I have something to write about, I can write a book like let's say a 100 or 200 page book, less than a week. If I really am motivated and I got a subject that's colorful, filled with interesting stories. So yeah, I never thought of that before, but now that I think of it, I think Kevin might be the ultimate subject matter on that. I don't think most people know about Kevin's mine years, working in the mines. To the mines, boys. He didn't work in the mines in the sense that he was putting dynamite into holes. He worked in the chemistry department, in the reagent area, and he ended up having an accident that something spilled on him, and he had some devastating disabilities that came out of it in terms of burning that took place in his skin. Oh, that's another thing. He starts off in Southie, right? He's a Boston boy, becomes um, an Alaska guy. Oh, Kevin, Kevin, I'm gonna screenshot this. Do you give me permission to start writing and actually really I might have to ask you some questions, but, I think I got enough to really get started on. I wanna get your okay, though. I think Frank would be an interesting book to write. I would love to write a book on Frank. If he could put aside his massive ego and his hypersensitivity and his hypocrisy, from the Mount Vernon era to the Seattle Times era to the glory holes, the parks departments, the bankruptcies, the Hawaii years, the getting ripped off for 24,000 pesos, the first bar you walk into, not knowing that the girlfriend you had 8 kids for 2 years. A lot of material there. And I would love to write it, I don't wanna, get into I could change all the names, everybody will know who we're talking about, though. I would actually like to write the real thing, with, no holds barred. He'd have to give me permission, though. I'm not gonna do it and I don't wanna do it as an attack piece. There's been enough attack of Frankie Boy. I mean, he's been attacked his whole life. Mostly he brought it on himself, of course, but I would love to do it where it's a truthful biography, including all of the stupid shit, like all the cases and, all the other rumors that maybe not are true or not true. I think there's enough material there to make it interesting for a lot of people. So, Frank, if you give me your permission, I will definitely get started on that. Yeah, well, I'll definitely give you a piece of the pie, Kevin boy. I would for Frank too, honestly, I would. I'd split it with him because I know that he's pretty much broke. And unlike everyone else, I am not wishing for Frank to end up homeless. I don't want to see him. I mean, I don't think about Frank ever, but when I do think of him, I just feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for the guy that he wastes his life in pursuit of all that stupid crap. But I have no interest in seeing him broken up with Gilda or out on the street or any of it. I think it's just I don't wanna I have no interest in seeing it myself, be honest with you. I know that the knucklehead thinks I'm behind it, I'm paying people to do this, I'm not. I have never paid 1 penny to get him anything. He's guilty of everything Barry is times 10. I'm gonna say that up front. But getting, deported and oh, come on. Everyone wants to file a case, everyone wants to deport everybody. Come on, let the Philippines deport who they wanna deport. And it should be murderers, it should be criminals, I mean, hardcore criminals, you know, rapists, child molesters, forgers, people that are really heinous people, not people who call people names on the Internet. Well, I wouldn't say I'm honorable. How can you have been with 1,100 women in your life and be honorable? But I'll be honest about it, and I think your life is a compelling life. There's certain characters in our genre, you, Frank, Ricky, I mean, who else is interesting enough to write a full book about? The 3 of you, and maybe Fazio would have been one. I can't think of anyone else that I could get more than a chapter out of, though. But I will not take cheap shots against you or Frank if he gives me permission to write his biography. I will give him half and you of any proceeds, and you can promote it on your book on your show, and you just get the story out. It's the least I could do for the community. All right. Well, I think we're gonna chew on that for a while, Kevin, and let Frank know. And honest to goodness, Frank, if you ever hear this, in spite of your massive ego and your huge mouth and your nonstop stupid bullshit that you've done, I don't hate you, and I don't even want to see you suffer. I think you're suffering enough. Um, I don't think you or Barry should be kicked out of the Philippines for not paying a visa or whatever, or calling someone a name. I think these don't rise to the level of deportable offenses. That's my opinion, of course. I don't get to have a vote on this. Philippine government alone makes those decisions. And I think we should be very careful when we're rooting for this because do we want to see everybody in America who doesn't, kiss the Americans' ass get deported? I mean, we'd have to deport about 100 million people if that's the case. I think we could have a fun section there called uh Frank's oxymorons. Okay, like you are the health guru of YouTube as you're smoking 3 packs a day of Camel non-filters. I mean, it'd be interesting to have that as a chapter. All, all of the little conundrums that you present. But if I did it, I wouldn't take cheap shots and I wouldn't do anything embarrassing, like truly embarrassing. And I would share the revenues because I believe that they should get part of it. Also, I wanna say too, and this is really truthful, um, to whatever extent I have financially, well, I got none of it from my parents, so just to set that straight, one of Frank's many lies. I didn't inherit anything, but I'm very lucky, very fortunate. I was born in Southern California at the right time, born in the same hospital as Ricky Drama, I might add. And to grow up in Southern California in Orange County in the 1960s and 70s was a real thrill. It was a privilege. It was a hoot. We had the best of times. Everyone who lived there and who grew up there knows what I'm talking about. It was the place to be. It's the place everybody wanted to be. We had all the aircraft companies, McDonnell Douglas, Hughes, Bell Helicopter. We had all the military bases, Tustin Marine Base, El Toro, Camp Pendleton, March Air Force Base. The list goes on and on. We had Boeing, Rockwell. I mean, we had so much going on, along with the greatest weather, the greatest beaches, etc. Oh yeah, we could talk about that too. From 454 to 280 to 280, 285, you showed what long-term discipline can do. Well, see, that's the thing about I've known you for a long time. I'm the one that picked you up when you arrived here, just right down the street. We're on Prom right now. The very next exit, ASOC, that's where you and I met. See, I've never mocked you. I've never used you as the brunt of jokes. I've never treated you any different than I would anybody else. And I've respected your journey. And to me, it was very thrilling to see your triumphant return because everyone said, "You'll never make it. Kevin will never make it back to Southeast Asia. He'll never lose the weight. He'll never make it back." And you proved them wrong. So people should not be placing bets against you. You have a history of proving them wrong. And I want to see you keep proving them wrong. Absolutely. So, once again, if I wrote a book about Frank, it would be truthful, it would be brutally honest, but it would still be respectful. But yeah, I'm gonna go the community is gonna hate me for this because everyone wants to see Frank out on the street, and I don't. I think living there in Bentayne is already a cruelty. I've been to Bentayne many times. I like it for 2 days, maybe 3. On the 4th day I stayed for 4 days, but at the heading into a 5th day, I was ready to shoot myself. There's nothing to do. The beach recedes like miles, it's low tide every day. It's dirty beach. It's it's a completely flat island. The mangroves are nice. Paradise Island is nice. You know, Paradise Beach, I'm sorry, Virgin Island. Paradise Beach, certain times of the day can be nice, but it's right in the middle of the sun. It's very hard to go there. There's nothing to obstruct the sun. So would I want to live there? Hell no. I'd rather live almost anywhere else. So living on an anthill out in the middle of nowhere, being completely flat on your ass, it's already a punishment. I also agree with what he said. Do you wanna see Gilda out on the street because he won't be able to afford to support her? I don't. I don't wanna see that. He should have thought of that with Shaw though, too, right? See, for some reason, Frank thinks it's okay for him to call everyone a pedophile and for him to attack all the women in the community. He thinks that's okay because he didn't do it relentlessly. He stopped after a while. Now, the hypocrisy is overwhelming. But with that said, I don't wanna see Gilda suffer or her kids because, you know, he's thrown out on the street. He didn't make enough money to go back to the US. He'd have to go to Cambodia or one of the cheaper countries. I think one of the reasons Frank is suffering right now is because the inflation in the Philippines is so extreme that stuff that I mean, I remember when I was there, during COVID, it cost 160 pesos for a chicken at Chuck's to Go. By the time I left, we were in Iloilo, it was 460 four 440 for a chicken. I mean, that's more than 100% increase in a couple of years. You can't go through that and not have massive consequences. The inflation, the cost of living, everything like that. So, I don't wanna see Gilda suffer. I don't think she's a bad person. I never talk shit about Gilda like Frank does about April and Honeyco. See, April's jealous of them because they're not married. They're not they didn't have a busload full of kids, and so he has to attack people. Everyone he's jealous of, he attacks. Why else would you attack them? They're not talking about him. April's never talked about Frank. Honeyco's never talked about Frank. But all it takes is one troll to cue up Frank, and he's triggered, always triggered. He wouldn't be triggered if he was standing in front of me, though. That I can guarantee you. He would never get triggered. He's just a hypocrite and a fraud and a coward. Only a coward goes after women in the community. So, but with that said, do I wanna see him out on the street begging and deported and living in a fan room in the middle of Cambodia? No. He stays put where he is right now. That's enough uh, of a punishment, in my opinion. Of course, what happened to Barry is just an unbelievable injustice. 3 plus years in jail for calling someone a name? It's insane. But again, that's the other type of bullying tactics. We know that little 5'2" Frank's not gonna walk up to me and talk shit, especially with no camera rolling. But same thing was true with him and Barry. Barry had no money. He had no money for a lawyer. Frank did. So he did the same tactic. He bullied. He was able to bully him. Just bullying tactics. But when if he wanted to go file cases with me, I'll fight him all day long because I have a lawyer. I have many times retained the services of a top-notch lawyer, most expensive lawyer in Cebu because we have a lot of issues with properties and other things that we've been involved in. Did you say mommy? Was mommy in here? Hey, mom, are you in here? If I didn't see you, say hi to mom. But yeah, that's so it's all bullying tactics. You talk shit about somebody, you have a platform, they don't have it, they can't retaliate without doing things like this, cases and so forth. And then the person doesn't like it when someone files a case, but that's all he's done. Guy on Facebook and the Fazio case, and of course the Berry case. But see, he doesn't file cases against people who can carry it on for 10 years in courts because they have the money to do it. Only the people that he can bully. Oh, okay, honeycomb. So I would highly encourage Frank not only to agree to the biography, but also to just stop being a dick. Just be normal, man. Just talk to people. Don't expect people to go on sides. Don't expect people to take up your side. Everyone's got their own way of thinking, man. No one looks up to you as a guru. No one respects you. I think if you just gave up the quest to be the big shot and just be or just normal, had normal conversation, you'd find that life is a hell of a lot easier. All right, well, that's my hour is up. We have 8 in the house. We have some lurkers who are screenshotting, no doubt. They're gonna tell on me. They're gonna go report it. Frank, did you hear what Biggie had to say about you? I want to go tell my mom on you. All right, Big Kevin, be good. We'll talk to you when your show is on later. I'm going to tell my mom on you. I'm going to run to Frank and tell him, did you hear what that big bad Biggie said? Honestly, I haven't read a word of a troll for years. If I did ever listen to Frank, which was like maybe once a year for 5 minutes, I never read the comments. I don't have the slightest concern. It's just like that other jackass moron named Sicko Micko. Remember, I'll never show my face in Dublin. If you show your face in Dublin, you're gonna go home in a body bag. I'm gonna slit you from ear to ear. And of course, I do live streams from my hotel multiple times, and no one shows up. Wow. Then that other lunatic, the poodle noodle, talks about people for years. This has been going on. She is the Frank of the industry here. She is the Frank of YouTube on the female side. You know, filing cases against Ruby and she and Heidi and Mom and me, of course, and ET and everybody, case after case after case, supposedly, and nothing accomplished. Remember, I wasn't ever going to show my face in Philippines, and if I did go, I'm never bringing my family back. Because the faggot fairy said he'll never show his family. He'll get in trouble. Yes, because the fairy is a beta simp, and he thinks that everyone's like him, that they follow, like they do what they're told. It doesn't work that way, my man. I'm gonna end the show here, but I want to give once again the kudos to Kevin for doing a great job. Popeye. I think Allo, even though I think people don't misunderstand what you're doing, I think you're given a platform, and I imagine you're giving that platform to anyone who wants to go up and have that platform. Because you had Mad Max up there. I saw that. I didn't hear it. I didn't know what happened on it, but I remember seeing the notification. And I love the idea of giving people a platform and just questioning them and being fair in your questioning, which I think he has been, and intelligent with the questions. Also, remember he's the jester. When people get upset, they're getting upset at a little clown mask. But I think he's very talented at doing it, and I think it's good. The more light that you give to these people, the more they expose themselves. Want to shout out to Popeye once again for he's also very good on his live streams. I wish Popeye did more. I mainly don't watch any of it because there's nothing on anymore. No one does shows anymore. The community is so dead, you know. And then Ricky, because Ricky is out showing the world. He's funny as hell. He's a great guy behind the scenes. He's tried and he always tries. He gets sick, goes to Germany, gets better, comes right back, goes back to the dating circuit, goes back on the traveling trail. And he's not a perfect person, but he always tries. And I really, really like him and respect him. And last but not least, Honeyco and April once again for your very hard work lately and dedication. Careful what you wish for. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm always careful what I wish for. So shout out to April and Honeyco for your tireless work and your friendship. And who else did I leave out? Who else? Oops. Hey, Kevin, I just posted my show. Check it out later. Okay, we will. You don't have permission to write about me. Okay, well, I won't. Like I said, I would keep it respectful. Get the story out. No below the belt. Oh, we don't know if it's Frank. A lot of people impersonate Frank, so who knows? But if I hear Frank say it with his own mouth, which I'm sure I will, then I'll believe it, not somebody impersonating Frank. You can have permission, okay. Okay, you all heard that. I got permission from Kevin, so I'll focus on the Kevin book first. Okay, let's see. Well, I was winding it up. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, shout out again. So Big, Kevin, Ricky, who else? Popeye, Aloe. Who else is doing anything though, other than those guys? The genre's so dead that that's why I never watch anyone on YouTube anymore. It is just deader than a doornail. But Kevin's gonna be doing a show, and Kevin's had some great shows lately. He's made some good super chats. Kevin is planning a return to Southeast Asia. It's maybe in December, January, February timeframe. We look forward to that. It was fun meeting him multiple times that was able to, both here and in Vietnam, along with Captain Billy, another great guy. So we're gonna head it out here. I was supposed to only do 15 minutes. This ended up being an hour, and I'm down to 20%. Okay. I didn't hear the entire live because, he just got fed it by a troll. That's what trolls do. They take stuff out of context. If I hear it with his own mouth, of course I can do the book without naming names, without I can change all the names. But I'd rather do it with the names because I think everybody in the community would get a kick out of it. But it's not gonna be a hit piece. It's gonna be an honest biography, the good and the bad, if he gives us permission. But when you're dealing with biographies and the biographies, um no, go ahead and ask your lawyer. I don't care what you ask your lawyer. You think that lawyer stuff works on me, Frank? I mean, give me a break. But here's the I wouldn't do it anyway if the person doesn't wanna do it. I can do any book I want if it doesn't have the names. Good luck trying to, get some money out of that one because there's disclaimers that are given in the book. Everything's incidental, and we have freedom of speech, so I'm not the least bit worried about that. But I don't wanna do it that way because I want that person's permission because it's a biography, not a hit piece. I would wanna interview the person and get the real facts for the book to get the real story out. But not I'm not interested in hit pieces and fake shit. I mean, that's what the whole community does. It's just a nonstop attack machine. Ring the bell, Kevin, yeah. You should go back and listen to the whole show, Frank, because I told him I don't think you should get deported even. You didn't hear that part, though, and I am absolutely also not the person financially involved in any of this stuff because I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. I have no interest in watching you down at the bottom. I mean, it just, doesn't do anything for me watching other people take a hit or suffer. I know that that's your thing. You like to see people get sick. You like to see people die. You like to see people suffer. I don't like to see those things. You also have a bad habit, Frank, of if a troll tells you, "I heard Big E was giving Shaw money. He's the one behind this, Frank. I heard it on Discord. Did you know that, buddy?" And you run with it every single time, even though there's not a word of truth in it. Not involved in, never have been. I think it's all bullshit, personally. I don't think people should be getting deported over I think the deportation should happen only in extreme cases. Extreme criminal cases. Willy-nilly deportations over every complaint. Oh, anyone can complain about anything. They can just make it up and say, "Oh, he did this. He traumatized me. I want him out of our country." Wow, it shouldn't be like that. And I don't know all the details. I don't know all the details because I haven't read any of it. I'm way too busy to be dealing with it. Anyway, welcome to the show, Frank. I hope you're doing okay. As I said earlier, I don't hate you. I don't have anything, you can hate me all you want, but it doesn't affect me. I don't hate you, and I don't even want anything bad to happen to you, man. Doesn't mean I agree with anything you've ever done. I don't. Don't agree with anything you've ever done, but I'm not gonna spend my life hating. Doing better than you. Well, I gotta admit, it sounds like Frank. I'm doing better than you. Yeah, 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 I am. Ah, Frank. All right, I'm gonna go. I was gonna go 45 minutes ago. So, Kevin, if you want to queue up whatever you got to do, uh, we will pick it up in your show. How about that? I got to get out of this pool. All right, Frank. Thanks for stopping by, Honeyco, Arcelius Corner, Kevin, Mom, and anyone else that I missed. We love you. Mean it. Think of you all the time. And we'll be seeing you around. Remember lie number three. Lie number three of expats, what the show was originally about. Lie number three. It's not more fun in the Philippines if you are not out living your life to the fullest. If you're living in a fan room, staring at the walls, it's not more fun. All right, 1 hour for Kevin, everybody. All right, everybody, take care. Peace and God bless you.